Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Latina Success. Today, I'm very excited to start the year with an amazing friend from Argentina, Ricky, who is the CEO and founder of Robotic Crew. And today, I really want to chat with him a lot about many topics that I'm very interested in. But first, I would like to hear from you, Ricky, and if you can introduce to our audience and tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for allowing me to be here. I'm thrilled about it. Yeah, my name is Ricardo Petrasini. Everyone knows me as Ricky, and I started Robotic Crew 2 years ago, and we have been providing service for the last 5. And it's always a pleasure to help you and be participating on any of your activities. So thank you. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, no, thank you, Ricky. I think something I would like, to hear from you is the purpose of Robotic Crew and why it was funded and created, right? I think that might be helping us to go through the topic that I'm very interested to dig in. But I would like to hear from you, the behind of why Robotic Crew and what you are
Sure.
doing.
Um, I'm a biochemist and molecular biologist, but I have always been very fond of technology and innovation in any technology like software or hardware. Um, I think my first approach to robotics was through my previous life, I could say, my previous job, which was being the director of a very big lab, a pathology lab in the States. They call it pathology labs. Here we call them laboratories for clinical analysis. And I was for a decade a director of a very big lab, and it was fully automated with the latest technology available. And so I was always related to automation and processes, automation processes, and processes where information and hardware were key. Um, but because of different personal things in my life, I decided to sell that company and take some years, uh, at least 1 year, to cool down my brain, I would say. And then I sold that company, and I started to look into what is most interesting to me, and also that has a big impact in the future. So as I've always been, let's say, surrounded by robotics and software, we started a software company, and that company has been running for the last 6 years. That company, I'm also the CEO of that company. That's a regular software factory, regular software development company. The stack is JavaScript and stuff like that. With those partners, I have some partners in that company. With those partners, I always spoke about robotics and automation, and we attended to South by Southwest because we go a lot to Austin, and there I saw a lot of robotic, let's say, hype, and yeah, that rang some bells into me and my partners board, and we decided to research on robotics and see where could we fit as a company. We discovered that robotics is, in a big boom. Soon it will be the next thing for everyone in the world. That's my take. And we decided to develop a new company focused on providing service to the robotic environment, as we have a lot of experience providing nearshore staffing for software companies in the United States. We thought it was good to start there. So yeah, we find that there is a big market for that. So we started offering robotic development software development for robotics. That's Python, C++, Java, embedded software, control software, um, simulations, stuff like that. And going deeper into that research, we find out about robotic operations. And yeah, we decided to focus on development and robotic operations. I think robotic operation is coming first right now, and then the demand will grow for development. I don't know if I could do a good resume for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you just get to the point that I want, to chat with you more. It's about RobOps, right? Robotics operation. I think we would like to from you to describe more about this, right? What is RobOps? What it covers? Why is helping, the companies to grow and scale?
So I think robotic operations is a specialized field that focuses the deployment of automated units or robots. Once you've done that deployment, it begins a very different thing, separated from development, which is monitoring, maintenance, optimization of the robotic in the real world environment. So this is similar to DevOps in software engineering, but the thing is, here we are dealing with robotic fleets and automation processes and remote operations. I'd like to say that robotic operation is the most important thing once you have turned on your robot and throw it into the real world, right?
Yeah, I can tell you, from my experience in customer success and driving adoption in robotics, I think it is a critical area that when I started working in the industry, it wasn't really considered as a RobOps, as a department, as a critical area in robotics. It was like, okay, we need to develop, deploy, which is what's coming from sales, right? And then have a system in place to drive adoption. And I think as I keep implementing robots and going into the field, I realized that robots was this big part of making a team and a company be successful, right? Where you need to be really making sure that your fleet is being well taken care of in the field, that you are able to respond if something is happening, and if you're able to, to be on the boogieing or be able to
Absolutely.
fix on time. Because when people is adopting new technology, they get frustrated, right? They get frustrated if something is not working. And robotics come with more challenges than other devices or technology that people commonly use. So if you have a really robust part of robots in your team, you are able to really offer a better service. And this is going to be impacting your ROI, right? It's going to be impacting the way your customers see you, the way that you're responding to them, going to make
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
feel better. Yes. So have you experienced anything in this regard, like with the customers that you already are helping them to scale? What is your experience so far there?
Um, the experience there is, it's amazing because all robotic companies are not just entrepreneurs, they're mostly pioneers. So they are learning. And one of the things we do in our company is we offer them to learn with them how we can help them. Sometimes customer approaches us without really knowing what he needs. Most of the companies are focused on development of a product, and RobOps is a service. And as you said, I would absolutely call it customer success for robotics deployment. RobOps is the same thing. So what we get there is mostly for our customers is that robotic companies are very new to the concept of outsourcing robotic operations, or for the fact what they are talking, outsourcing anything is difficult for a robotic company. And for us that we came from the software business, it's a very normal operation to use nearshore services. For robotic operations, it comes really as a common sense that you would use an outsourced support company for your deployed units and not use your development teams. And of course, when you start thinking about that, the next reasonable step is think about nearshore in Latin America, just because of the cost and the availability of the human resources. So what we get when we approach or we are approached by a robotic company in terms of our experience is we kind of have to teach them how to take advantage of our services. It's not obvious for them at the first contacts, and then as we grow the relationship and they understand what we offer, it makes common sense.
Yeah, and I think also you're just talking about something very important, right? The role that the Latino community can play. I feel like a lot of people doesn't really realize that as a Latinos, we have a big value on the number of people who is already professional and knowledge in this area in the robotics, right? And as companies keep scaling, and especially companies in US or other parts where the labor cost is very expensive, you still can have the same level of people working in another country and helping you to scale from a remote setting, right? And in this case, partner with a company like Robotic Crew, where you already have the experience, where you already have vetted the people and have the right person for their teams.
Yes, and this is very important because we're not only helping a robotic vendor to accomplish their goals. We are also helping Latin American engineers and roboteers and whatever the role it is. We're helping them to be part of an American company, which is always they have more funding and they are in contact with the latest advancements in the industry. So it's always good for Latin American engineers to work for American companies as contractors. Of course, there are some other things we learned when we started the company is that we have a special advantage in the world when you compare companies from Latin America to other parts of the world. The main importance and why we decided to start this company and why we think this company will grow a lot, and there will be other companies offering the same services that we offer now today, is that the time zones. So robotic operations happens, a robot can work, anytime, all the time. But most of the operations where there is most automatization right now, automation, you call it automation, right now is in warehouse and industry and service. So there is a time for that, and that happens during daytime in the United States. And the best aligned time zones in the world that also has a lot of human resources available and has the cost, the benefit cost, is Latin America. So in software is different. In software, it's difficult to compete with let's say India, for example, or sometimes Eastern Europe. But for robotic operations, that happens mostly during daytime in the United States. For most of the more developed industries or business vertical that are using robots right now are during daytime. So that's a key component that we learned when to decide to move on, building Robotic Crew.
Perfect. And what technologies will you say are driving the advancements in robotics operations?
Well, once we started the research 2 years ago, we call them adjacent technologies or supporting technologies, and pretty much they haven't changed from 2 years ago till now. I would say digital twins and simulation is something that is gaining interest in the industry. We didn't see that at the beginning. So there is a lot of benefits in simulation and digital twins of the real world to train robots. Of course, AI was a thing 2 years ago, and it's a thing now. And mostly for computer vision. Computer vision is one of the biggest things used in robotics, and predictive maintenance. And of course, everything works on the cloud. So without the cloud, robotic operations, and for what we're talking about, the whole robotics wouldn't be as we know it now without the cloud, right? If you're talking about robotic operations, you're talking about different things, like maintenance, monitoring, real-time monitoring, upgrading systems, helping a robot to solve an obstacle, for example. But there is a specific item within robotic operation called telepresence, where you get to, drive somehow that robot, and most of the telepresence, not all, but most of the telepresence needs to be kind of like really real time, like very, very sharp real time. So there is a word that expresses the time that a package of information goes from a computer to a hardware and back, so, or for one computer to another and back. I'm talking about the robot when I say hardware, right? So that's called latency, and latency is key in telepresence. So if you are talking about robotic operations and you're specifically talking about latency, 5G and ultra low latency technologies allow the real-time remote control to be available, from considerable distance, right? I would say Mexico is the place most chosen to do nearshore robotic operation telepresence. So one of the things we do if the client need is related to telepresence is we build the teams in Mexico, specifically in Mexico. Yeah, we were talking about the technologies driving RobOps. I think anything that improves in sensors allows the experience of the robotic operator better. So that means better robotic operations. There are robotic operation platforms or middlewares. This was something I was very related to from my job as a pathology lab director, because we rely on a middleware, to unify different vendors and different machines that they did different tests to the same blood, to the same person. So this concept of bringing together different brands, different technologies, different providers, to me has been very easy to understand because I worked in that field for 15 years. So the first contacts I had in the industry was with robotic operation platforms. This is how we met in Orbit, Formant, Hicks. There are other companies. I'm just naming the ones that we have partnerships with. And the partnerships mainly is train people in those platforms to help the end user. That would be, I don't know, any company that is using robots in a warehouse through the robotic operations. For that, we need this platform. So any development or improvement in those platforms, or even in robotic operation system, ROS or ROS2, any of those advances helps a lot to robotic operations. And of course, cobots and AI assistants, that's a thing that was not very we didn't hear about that at the beginning. I think AI assistance is something that is rising now, but those can definitely help factories, warehouses, and services industries in improving productivity and safety through AI-driven interaction, and that allows robotic operations to be easier, right? Any advancements in AI really doesn't bother us in Robotic Crew, because there will always be, and this is something that also give us a lot of trust to start this company, was that even when robotic operations is led by AI sometime in the future, or we are seeing some co-pilots in the industry right now, those will improve. So the rate of humans in the loop will go down, but the number of robots will grow. So that number will always be a demanding number, and that demand will be served by Latin American companies like us. I think those are the most important. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it's because it's not only helping the companies, to scale, like you say, or having operations that are close to United States, for instance, right? But it's also, I see a lot of companies also moving into growing their market into Latin America, right?
Yeah.
Especially Mexico is investing a lot in automation and bringing, manufacturing as a part of the efforts for the grow economy. So definitely, I think a lot of companies see that as an opportunity as to go to market, and having, a team that is already have the experience like Robotic Crew to, scale the operation is the best thing. Like you say, a lot of the companies, in my experience, they are being born by super smart engineers with knowing all the technology, how to build the robotics and so on. But once they face the challenge of growth, they need a partner like Robotic Crew to make sure that they are able to scale and they are able to offer a better support or service for their customers. So Ricky, I would like to hear if you have any success case that you would like to share with us, from one of your customers or anything, like if you
Sure.
could share, some of the challenges and some of the key success moments that has been happening.
Sure. Yeah, we have a reasonable number of new customers in the last couple of months. Most of them, they don't want to tell what they are doing. We are, covered by NDAs. Even to go to discovery calls, we sign NDAs. I think that's healthy. But we do have one customer that agreed to share its experience with us. We are actually working in the development of the success case to let know the market that we have this success case. So, but I can give you some hints of what we did, or what we are doing with this customer. They are called Remy Robotics, and they are a cutting-edge robotics company specializing in autonomous kitchen solutions. The robot systems handle cooking operations, helping restaurants, and mainly they call it fast fine, which is fast food, but with a twist that they add, which is the menus are really kind of classy, or chef made menus. They even have a special team developing those menus. So they have been in the market for 10 years. not offering always the services, but developing the solution. And in the last 2 or 3 years, they have been offering the service, and they have been very successful. They have some kitchens in Miami, and for that kitchens, we have been providing robotic operations. You could call it robotic operations monitoring, or tier 1 and tier 2, or probably a mixture of the three things, right? This is the thing with robotics and robotic operations. We don't, sometimes we don't know how to call things, because we do things that haven't been done before, right? So yeah, what the challenge was, they have development engineers providing support. That was, I think that was the pain that let them think about us, or lead them to talk to us. The key issues were, the cost of the hour of a developer is very high. It's a lot higher than support specialized human resource. Let's say a tier 1, tier 2, or a robot tier. We call it robot tier to the let's say monitoring, and tier 1 could be, we call it robot tier. So that guys don't really need to be engineers. We use engineers or young engineers mainly because we can afford them. But in the United States, most of those are not engineers. But they need to have some specific skills for support, not only knowing what they are doing, but dealing with people, right? So that was one thing, the high costs, and the other thing is what I said, the lack of support expertise. So those two things are very important. But the most important thing, what I've seen in this customer and some other customers, all other customers, is that when they deploy units, the first units they deploy, support becomes a distraction for development, right? So if you want to analyze this from a, let's say, a macro point of view, is the difference between being a product company and a service company. They are providing a robotic solution, automation solution, but that's a product. And the support for that is a service. And this is where I think it's common sense, after some analysis, it's common sense to decide to go for an outsource. And that outsourcing is better when it's from Latin America, because of the cost and the availability, right? So yeah, those things were the problems. The solution was, we built tier 1 and tier 2 support team from Robotic Crew to Remy Robotics. We merged with their team, and we kind of shadow them for a while. Once we had all the expertise we need related to their operation. For example, they don't use a third-party robotic operation platform. They have their own. So we learned how to deal with that platform and the problems they had in the everyday operation, from starting the unit in the morning and closing the kitchen at night. And once we had at least one guy very well trained, then we started training other people, other roboteers, other RobOps people. And we start gaining more hours of support and letting development engineers to use their time for development. The other thing that they were very keen on, and we understood that from the beginning, is that the information that you get from bringing support for a robotic fleet is that you have a lot of information of where to improve and what things can be done better. We can even help them with our ideas, right? So what we do is we are very careful to make all the documentation the better we can, and make sure that that information is available for the right key people in the development team. That's one of the values also of using this kind of services. Um, of course, we lowered their operational costs. I don't really know how much. They wouldn't tell me, because that would, spoil the negotiations. But we know that at least 40%, probably 40% cost reduction, and also the improvement in we measure two things, which is the time to engage with the problem and the time that the problem is solved, that took the problem to be solved. So those two key parameters were decreased by using our services, just because a development engineer has different times, different training, different point of view that a support team, right?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think,
I have experienced that a lot, right? It's not the same. And not talking about anybody, right? But it's like knowing that you have expertise as a developer that's developing, right? And it's very different from the perspective from someone who knows how to support, right? And be on the customer shoes, so try to understand the customer case. And then you create a bridge, right? And definitely helping, your support team with your developer, make them having superpowers, but you cannot expect really to have the developers really being the support people, because you get frustration for everybody, from your developers and also from your customers. So I think here in that case, makes me happy. I know that definitely a lot of companies need that, right? Need to understand that they don't need to handle everything. They can have somebody who already have done it and knows how to do it, instead of trying to do something from scratch. So that's great to know. We're almost coming to an end, but I don't know if it's anything else you would like to be adding, Ricky, or share with us. We have just a few minutes, so feel free.
no, just tell you that I love the work you do. I admire you a lot, and you are inspiring. The impact you're making is very important for me as a Latin American, and also as um, let's say a startup. And you have been not only a good friend, but a great advisor and a great doors opener, always without any specific expectation of what you're doing, just to help someone. And I admire that in you. And of course, it's a pleasure to work with you in any project.
Thank you, Ricky. I can say the same. I really love working with you. I know I called you my partner because I know we have been
Yes.
doing a lot of
Yeah.
projects together. And I definitely, I like to see that Latinos keep, shining. And definitely, I always gonna be pushing for having more Latinos in this industry. And no, because I want just to bring Latinos, but because I know robotics needs an ecosystem, and an ecosystem that everybody can be benefit from, right? Where companies in other countries can benefit from the experience in Latin America, or also for having, people working from them. And also Latin America, getting the benefit of getting the experience and the exposure from other cultures and other technologies. So
Yeah.
I feel as we keep growing in this industry, it's gonna keep growing these needs of having an ecosystem where is okay, I need to outsource this, right? I need the help of keep growing this area of my company. So I see that Robotic Crew is gonna be doing amazing. I know
Yeah,
robotics is,
yeah, we're doing great. We're doing great.
yes.
I mean, we were talking about just one client because that client allows that to happen. But there are other. I mean, everything that I told about this customer is almost the same in other customers.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want to add one last thing, I would say my vision for the robotics industry is that in a couple of years, I don't know how many years, but soon enough, in the short time, um, there will be a lack of human talents, mainly in the United States, and we will be the solution for that. And when I'm saying we, I'm not talking only about Robotic Crew. I'm talking about a lot of companies that will be bringing the same solution we bring. Like there will be other players, and I think that's good. And of course, there will be other companies providing different services that the one we provide that will also be part of that ecosystem you mentioned. So
Yep.
that's my vision for the coming years.
Yeah, no, I see it now, right? As we see companies like Figure and others be raising a lot of money and be ready to be producing a lot. And no, that's the part right now. They are working on producing, but then the next stage is gonna take them to the market, where is again needing a lot of people and a lot of help. So I see the same.
Yep.
Ricky, it was amazing having this conversation with you. Thank
Same.
you so much for accepting my invite to the podcast. I'm pretty
Thank
sure
you.
a lot of people will enjoy it.
Thanks to you, the feelings mutuous.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.